Hey everyone, this is Amanda Moore from the Angelman Syndrome Foundation, and you're listening to the ASF podcast, the show that explains everything you want to know about Angelman Syndrome. We're so excited you're here, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well today within the Angelman community and otherwise. This is AJ Knouff as well as Chloe Knouff. We are guest hosting today, and our discussion will be on travel. That travel discussion will also be with our other guest, Haley Green of Wondermakers Travel. She is a mother to Ellie, who is part of the community. She, sweet little girl, as well as two other individuals, Sawyer and Atlas. Welcome. Hopefully you're doing well today, Haley.
I am, thank you.
We see that you're moving to Hawaii as well, so you're doing more travel in 2025, I guess.
We are. We've got lots of traveling that we're going to do based out of Hawaii as well.
Well, that's incredible. I wish we could do that, but we'll be talking more about that travel right now. So on this episode, some of the things that we want to discuss with you all is making travel plans and the considerations you have to make for your kids, your loved ones with AS, and specifically talking a little bit about the ever-loved and often duplicated Disney trip that everybody loves to go on. So we're going to dive right in. So, Haley, you, over the course of your life with your little ones, have obviously done some traveling. And with that, it seems as though you have that passion for travel and have been going to Disney quite a bit, I assume?
Yes, we go a few times a year. Disney is before kids. We were diehard Disney people before kids. Now we have to take them on the trip because if not, it's a lot of explaining why mommy and daddy went and they didn't get to go. No, but we go quite often. Disney is actually one of the ways I coped with getting Ellie's diagnosis. So it is very, very near and dear to my heart. Very important to us.
That's beautiful. What about Disney makes it so special for your family?
So for us, the biggest thing is having gone to Disney pre-kids, pre-diagnosis, you have this image, I think most diehard Disney people, of what that trip is going to look like when you take your kids for the first time, watching them see the fireworks and, there's just very cliche things that you think about and how you want to experience with that with your family. Obviously, when we got Ellie's diagnosis, like everybody does, it was a really hard pill to swallow. And I was so scared that that was going to be taken away and selfishly taken away from me, like that experience with my little girl going to Disney. And we went anyways. And that first trip post-diagnosis, when we knew, we were diagnosed later, when we knew that Ellie had Angelman's, it was just the most accepting place we have ever been in our entire life. Like, we didn't feel different. If anything, we felt celebrated. And I just believe that every single family should get to experience that, especially when you think you have something that makes your family different per se.
100%. It is really all about getting out of that mindset of I can't do this, or there's going to be too many limitations. Instead, we want to look forward and look towards the future and say, I want to make all these trips. I want to do all these things with my family. So that makes a lot of sense. And you want to remember those trips. You want to remember the drive there. I know I saw there that you're currently Georgia based. We are as well. And so we took our little one, Wiley, to Disney as well. And it was the same thing. It's the little details. It's the looking forward to, while you're driving in, seeing the ears as soon as you come onto, Disney property, and just knowing that there's that excitement. So it is really there. But, a lot of people, I think they don't understand that whole dynamic about how accepting Disney really is and how well they are able to adapt. So, in your experience, if you'd like to, just tell us a little bit about kind of some of the things that you saw with Disney that really showed you that, this can work.
Yeah, and what accommodations do they make for our kids? Because I think we went into it kind of not knowing. We showed up with, but I think we should have prepared better.
Well, I think first and foremost, Disney is intimidating for any and every family. And so I think once you realize that your family is in the same boat as your neighbors, like it's a big trip. And once you've gone frequently, you know how to navigate it, but it's a big trip if you've never done it, and it can be very overwhelming. So the biggest thing Disney does now is they have what's called a DAS pass, which is the Disability Accessibility Pass. It has been overhauled in the past year. It's specifically for those with severe cognitive disabilities, which we fall into. And that it's not a skip the line, but you don't wait in a physical line with your kids. We didn't really use that the first few trips because we didn't know about it until we absolutely realized we needed it. And it was as simple as walking up to a cast member and just being like, is there anything I can do?
But we didn't. You just showed up and walked up, and then I think our little interview at the info station was maybe 15 minutes.
And you can do that on the planning side now.
Okay.
So you'll actually do a DAS interview 30 days out from your trip. So once you get there, like you're just set to go. We also always put a red tag on our stroller, which is something Disney gives you, and that signifies that it's also used as a wheelchair. Ellie is very mobile, but obviously asking any kid to walk a full 12 hours in the park is impossible, let alone an individual with Angelman syndrome. And then if we do travel when it's warm, we need a place where she can sit and cool down. So you can have your stroller tagged as a wheelchair, and that wheelchair can go anywhere a wheelchair can go. It can go in lines, in restaurants, in shows. I mean, we would sit in The Lion King and just leave her in the stroller, and she was happy as could be like that.
Yeah, much more comfortable for her to be in her own space.
Mm-hmm.
And we loved that we could kind of drive it right up to a ride and make that transfer much easier.
Especially since there are so many families whose kids are not mobile.
Yeah.
That's a big plus to be able to do that, as opposed to, your kids get bigger. You can only carry them for so long.
Yeah.
And there is no cost associated with it, correct?
No, none. You don't pay for DAS. It's just like, I always assimilate it with like having, your handicap placard on your car. You don't pay for that. Nobody, would want to use that unless they actually needed it. And the same with DAS.
That's wonderful. And I think that's so important for our kids too, because you highlighted a little bit on the whole idea or the whole thing of, your daughter, she gets really hot. Well, so does ours. Our son gets so warm. And so, I wish I could say during the hot months of the year is when he gets warm, but frankly, he is one of those children that even on a cold day, sometimes you'll see a bead of sweat just because he's just a warm kid. So, Disneyland, really Disneyland, Disney World, any time of the year is one of those places where you can go and you can really enjoy it. So, a lot of people, they're afraid that they have to stick within a certain period of time going on any vacation, and that's just not the case. And so
the climate just allows you to visit and a lot of times. And
with us, we took ours in February and it was still warm, or it started to get a little bit warm. Was kind of making that turn for Florida, but the thing that was so nice about it is just getting right up towards the into the line, being able to take him around if he needed that reprieve from the heat. There was always the opportunity to kind of get him out of the heat really quickly. And, for the Angelman syndrome community, of course, that is just a huge, huge win for us to be able to protect our kids from, unfortunately, the elements that go along with, having this fun time.
Yeah, for sure. And Disney has so many things that can help along with that. Like there's baby care centers. So if we are, I think, very close to being successful with potty training, but she is turning 6, in a few months. So she's big, and a changing table can be difficult, especially out in the parks where, you have family restrooms, but there's not necessarily like an adult size changing table. Disney has baby care centers, first aid centers that have tables that you can go take your child into, shut a door, and change them. And there's so many places that like might not necessarily have that you would travel to. So that's a big thing. They're air conditioned, again, a place to get them out of the heat. They're very quiet. It kind of pulls back that overstimulation. There's just, I could probably talk to you for 12 hours about Disney and doing Disney with disabilities.
Those are like the two main hidden pockets of Disney that like a special needs family should definitely check out on the map, or those baby care centers and first aid centers.
Yep.
Even though it's a baby care center, it doesn't matter that Wiley's 6. They would still accommodate his needs.
I believe so. We've never, like I said, our daughter is getting ready to turn 6, and out of all the times we've ever been, we've never had a problem. As she gets bigger, we probably will, if she's not fully potty trained, we'll probably move over to the first aid center just because it'll be a little bit easier and less crowded. But they want you to have a good time. Cast members make the magic. So if you go up and you just, always be kind and polite and let them know what's going on, they're going to help you out. And it's amazing.
And Epcot has some updates too now, correct?
They do. So Epcot just got finished doing a huge overhaul. We now have an adult changing table in the park, in a restroom, which is huge. And so I think as we see renovations, because Disney is always moving, it's a living, breathing thing. It's never going to stop.
Yep. And which is amazing. So well, like you never know. Yes. I feel like you never know what's going on and what's getting.
You don't. Yeah, it'll never be complete, which is the best thing about it. Because I'm all for adding like 10 more parks, 10 more lands. Like I'm all for it. I think as they overhaul and update, we're going to see more and more adult changing tables because there's a need, and a lot of families just like ours, they go to Disney so that they feel accepted and nobody bats an eye at them, so they want to accommodate those guests.
Absolutely. And the transportation has seen some of those updates as well for the monorails and the trains and the buses and everything. So speak a little bit more into that as well, the transportation highlights.
Sure. So Disney is broken down. The resorts are broken down in 3 different levels: deluxe, moderate, and value. Obviously, value is going to be the farthest away from the parks. Moderate is going to be closer, and deluxe is going to put you on the monorail line or some of the parks where you just roll right in. You don't even have to take transportation in. But if you are requiring transportation, and let's say you're in a value resort and you need to get on a bus, as long as your stroller is tagged, you're just going to roll your stroller in.
Okay.
And they're going to accommodate you
through the DAS process and get your tag.
So you can't get your tag until you get to the park because they have to physically stick it on your stroller. But once it's tagged, like you're good.
Okay.
Or, we've stayed at every level. I don't even want to tell you how many different resorts we've stayed at because it's obsessive. But for us, like if we want a really easy trip, we'll stay at a deluxe level on the monorail loop. And so Ellie we don't break our stroller down. Ellie can just walk onto the monorail, ride it, hop off, easy for her. And most of the time you can get like a monorail car to yourself if it's not super busy or if you're going to the parks early enough in the morning.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So how many like stairs and things are there to get on the monorail? Are there any? Because sometimes that's a concern. Like Wiley isn't great at stairs.
So there's no stairs. It's always roll up ramps.
Perfect.
And if you're staying like the Polynesian, the monorail is upstairs. You just take the elevator from the bottom floor up. And that's the same with all the resorts where the monorail is upstairs. You're going to just hop on the elevator and go right up.
That's great.
Perfect. And for people that are, that have not really done this travel all that much or haven't really been able to get out with their kids, one of the things that you kind of said there that it spoke to me because I know different families have different circumstances. It's not really a one size fits all situation. There is that starter level all the way up to the deluxe so that, those people out there that are hopefully listening to this and learning from it, you don't have to necessarily look at a situation of traveling, whether it be to Disney or, a number of other places, you don't have to look at it as there's only one choice that I have. There's only one way to do it. You can make this mix and match and really fit what you need when you're traveling with your kids. So that's great. That's great to hear.
And is that something you would help families navigate before their trip?
Yes, that's actually something I wanted to touch on. So the best thing you can do, like, you don't have to use a travel agent. Travel agent services are free. My services are totally free. It's you don't pay me. Disney pays me. Or whoever, whatever I'm booking through, they're going to be the ones to recoup me.
I didn't know that.
You just want to find a travel agent that specializes or has some knowledge on what traveling with disabilities. That's why I got into Wondermakers. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that, like, this is something I loved. We travel often. We go to Disney all the time. And I want to help a community that I'm part of. So, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody with any special needs and help you build that, because that's really what a travel agent is going to do. We're going to hear your what exactly your concerns are, and then we're going to try to build on that and pick the best resorts for you. We can craft your day, all of it.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, it's Amanda here. As you know, we're here for you, our community. If you have questions about any topics we can discuss in our podcast, or if you have ideas for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is email me at dearamanda@angelman.org. Thank you so much for listening and your continued support of the Angelman Syndrome Foundation.
I know some of the things our family kind of takes into consideration when we travel, and it's daunting to me, is one, we travel with a safety bed for Wiley, which can be kind of bulky, so we need extra space. And then also he's on a specialized diet, so sometimes thinking about going to Disney or somewhere that might have a lot of junk food, those things like worry me, but I feel like talking to you and your experiences, you could tell me what was best because you've been there, you've seen it, you've done it, you've lived it with Ellie.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if you were talking to our family about those concerns, what would you say would be best?
You can always do Instacart right to your hotel room. So if you were concerned about, what we always do too is we pack a cooler. We're in Savannah, so we're in driving distance from Disney. We will Instacart ourselves groceries if we need it for stuff like that. And then in the parks, there are healthy options. I could show you on a map the different stands where you're going to be able to get an Uncrustable, apples, cheese sticks. Right in Liberty Square, if you go in Magic Kingdom in Liberty Square, there's cuties and just fruit, bananas.
Great.
And then for the restaurants, when you're making your dining reservations, you can put in, like, if you have a food allergy or if you need something specific. And like I said, Disney's going to accommodate.
That's great because, yeah, where Wiley eats low sugar, low carb, and, I think, we treat him every once in a while. So seeing the, like, temptations of the big popsicles and the giant pretzels is definitely there. But we kind of live our life meal planning before everywhere we go. And I love that you said we could bring in our own food.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know was an option. I think I've only ever brought in a water bottle. So,
Yep, you can bring in coolers, actually, so you can pack whatever you need.
Now, is there limitations to that of what you can bring in or anything?
Just no alcohol in glass containers. No alcohol or glass containers.
Perfect. And so even though I feel like I've definitely heard from you a lot of this, what keeps you going back? What makes you decide to go to Disney? What's your driving force behind it? Just, what makes you love it as much as you do?
For us, it's our family's happy place. For me, it's just the one place in the world you go and then nothing, you're in the bubble and nothing out of the bubble matters. And that's really translated into our kids. All three of them are diehard Disney people as well. Ellie is hard in her princess stage, so she loves it just as much. And we obviously like seeing them and how much they love it. Like, I just love that for their childhood.
You were
So
telling me something earlier about how Flynn Rider from Tangled interacts with Ellie when you're at the parks. Will you tell everybody
he
about
did.
that? I think
So
that's
Ellie, she loves Tangled, and we saw Flynn, and so the characters are so good about meeting kids where they are, meeting individuals where they are, child or adult. And so when he realized that Ellie wasn't necessarily going to just like come up and hug him right away, he started using part of his costume as props. You know, like he took his frying pan and let Ellie play with his frying pan while she took the time to warm up to her. And then Disney has this really amazing thing where characters, when they do hug them, the character will not let them go until the child lets them go or the adult lets them go. And we saw one Ellie, I mean, she's gone probably like 10 times now. So when she sees a princess, she's not afraid to hug them anymore. And it's just the best feeling in the world watching her hold on to them for like a minute, 2 minutes. And just, I know she's so happy.
yeah. Do you ever worry about our kids being little grabby paws and like like Ellie grabbing costumes and things like
Yes, we definitely when we first started taking them, and even now still we let the character know that she's not gonna be able to use her voice to speak to them, and she can be a little handsy, and that's just part of the way she communicates. As she gets older, we back off and we let her, unless we feel like we need to intervene.
yeah.
But they'll work with you.
They've
If you think
probably
about all the kids.
experienced it, right?
Yeah, all the kids that come through Disney and all the different type of people that come through Disney. I mean, these guys are like professionally trained to just be the best
Yeah.
in whatever situation they're put in.
I love that. I know I have friends who always worry about, the hair pulls and the tugs, but I think, they have built in and been trained on ways to redirect and
Mm-hmm.
playfully, and kindly help them have a really positive experience, whether it's like holding their hands with them and looking them like deep in the eye and getting
Oh,
them
yeah. And you can always leave them, especially if you have your stroller marked as a wheelchair. You can do character meet and greets in a stroller as well, if that helps.
Yeah. How I know when we went to Disney, this is a little off topic, but we had trouble like finding when the princesses and when the people will be where they're going to be to get a good meet and greet. Do you have any tips on that?
So it'll depend on what park you're going to, at least for the US. Disneyland, they roam for the most part still. So they just pop in and out, which is part of Disneyland's charm and magic as the original park. Disney World, it's kind of like a set in stone. You go to Fantasyland to see Cinderella.
Okay.
And again, like your travel agent should be able to hop on. There's a My Disney Experience app, and you can actually go on and look for that, and it'll tell you what time when they're going to be there and how long the wait is.
Awesome.
That's excellent. Well, I mean, I think in hearing all these things from you, Haley, it seems like it's really a great situation to get out there and travel with your kids, but not alone, not just do that, but with the help of Wondermakers and you guys, it's really helped the AS community, and seems like a lot of other individuals be able to enjoy their trips with their families, put their worries aside a little bit, and be kind of directed in the direction of positive experiences and happy children and happy memories. So, if Disney's not the right vacation for you or your family, though, and you're looking for other attractions or destinations, we do hope to cover those for everybody that's listening here
Yeah.
on future episodes. But I know you had talked a little bit on Epcot. So is there some other ones too that you can speak to that are good opportunities or good places for the kids to go as well?
Other parks in general, or
Yeah, other travel destinations that have some accommodations or secrets that us special needs parents might need to know about or consider as a good option for us.
well, I'm sure you guys have heard of Morgan's Wonderland. We were actually there this summer. We stopped through San Antonio.
Oh,
We
yes.
took a month-long road trip and went from Georgia to California and back, and did a ton of stuff along the way. Yeah, it was a long trip. And saying that, like when you are looking for a destination to go to, Wherever, anywhere. Like that's my biggest thing with the AS community is travel's for everyone. If you want to go somewhere, go. Your kids are just going to surprise you and they're going to love it. It's hard. Travel is hard. I mean, I think we can all attest with any kids, travel is
Yes.
it's a lot and a lot of prep, but there's so many places that you would not think would work for you and they will. National parks, a lot of national parks have special needs accommodations. We went to Carlsbad Cavern National Park over the summer. Ellie did the full like 2 mile hike down into the cavern, and then we were able to take an elevator back up.
Wow.
Or you can take the elevator down to
Yeah.
explore the caverns and then go right back up. There's
That's
wheelchairs that you can rent. There's so much in so many places. It's I always say we always pick a destination and then we make it work for us. Because it's just, I mean, the whole wide world.
It
The
really
whole world's
sounds
out
like
there.
a mindset. You just have to
It
make
is.
up your mind to do it and try
It
it.
really is.
Absolutely. Don't be limited by anything because the sky really is the limit. You guys, Wondermakers, works together with the individual to meet them where they are and where they need to be, and really, helps you to enjoy a comfortable vacation, a confident vacation, as, I think a lot of people would worry about being confident. So, I think it's really just get out there and see everything and try to not feel limited by your diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Absolutely.
if you have gone and have had a bad experience and, don't want to leave on that low note, of, oh, I did that, I tried, it was terrible, no one slept good, we were so tired. Like, I think even coming to you and having a discussion of, well, what made it such a poor experience, maybe you can help people navigate how to improve it.
Absolutely. And like, remember too, is travel is a muscle, right? Your
Yeah.
kids and you guys are only going to get good at it as many times as you do it. It's definitely a muscle. And I think for us with Angelman syndrome, that's what we learned is we knew it might be a hot mess.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to go again. Oh, it was another hot mess. Okay, we're just going to go again. Hotel rooms, right? Super intimidating to our community because sleep is intimidating to our community. But we just kept putting our family and putting Ellie in situations and giving her the opportunity to rise. And she did. And so now when we go to a hotel, I mean, normally she tries to claim a whole bed for herself, but like we don't have issues of her trying to get out of the room, none of it anymore. But we practice a lot. It's like learning to take your kids out to eat at a restaurant. Just
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
much bigger thing than a restaurant.
Yeah, you have to set the scene for them. It's they don't know the expectations of them yet, so once you get out there and try and they figure out, okay, this is how it's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
I take a lot of redirecting and a lot of practice. I say with Wiley all the time, like you have to drill it into him, but then he won't forget it. So
Yeah, and then they start enjoying it. I mean, when Ellie sees us start packing up to go somewhere, she is just on a high, and she can't wait. And she doesn't necessarily know where she knows when we're going to Disney. Like we have a
That's
specific. Our pack out looks very specific when we're going down to Orlando. But for all of our other trips that we've taken with them, like she knows that we're going to go and we're going to have fun and it's going to be different and it's going to be out of her comfort zone. And she's all for it. And, I think that travel has been the great equalizer in our family because we get out and go probably more than your average family. And we have a lot of special circumstances. And so I just don't ever want anyone to not go out for themselves. And it definitely show your kids the world. They will just surprise you so much how much they take in and how much they enjoy it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. It makes me want to go somewhere right now with Wiley. I feel like I haven't known him enough.
Yeah. But I do encourage all of you out there to work with Wondermakers Travel, contact Haley, and see if one of the opportunities or one of the places that you might want to go to will work, because it seems like you guys at Wondermakers have a great community, a great team, and are looking to give everyone the best experience possible. And that's all you can ask for, especially in the disabled community. So we really thank you, Haley, for your time on here and just for everything. You've been a wonderful addition to the conversation, and we hope to work with Wondermakers in the future as well. And hopefully you hear from a lot of the community after this.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Haley,
much.
and good luck with your move to Hawaii. For any of our listeners who are also military families, Haley's a wonderful connection. And you've been all over the US now, so I know a lot of military families love connecting out there. So we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the ASF podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support us, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating or review. And please don't forget to subscribe.